There's a 3-plate vest in the gulag. When you go in the gulag, you start with a 2-plate. You can pick up a 3-plate. That gives you 3 full plates with it. So you can plate up once if you haven't been hit, and then you have 3 plates. If you get cracked, you can then again plate up 2 more times and start back how you did, even though the other guy you're fighting probably didn't pick up a vest. So he's going to have no armor, and you're going to be back to 2 or 3 plates again. You're going to win a lot more gunfights that way. Since you leave the gulag and come back with whatever you left with, you then come back into the game already with a 3-tier vest, which...
Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live. Pigs, welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 287. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. And today, is that a long sleeve shirt you're wearing? I'm joined by Tanner.
No, it's a nice little jacket. It's like kind of like a windbreaker type thing because I'm washing my hoodies, but it's like really warm inside. There's no hood on it.
It is, so let me be clear, insane behavior to wear that material inside.
But it's warm inside.
You have to take it off.
It's very warm and fuzzy and soft inside. I believe you. I believe that, but it still outrages me. Oh, I've never worn it in my house ever in my life. I've never put it on, but yeah. I'm washing all my hoodies right now, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll end the pod and go play Warzone then. Fine by me. See ya.
Later. Stay humble.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're listening to this, let us know. Do you wash your sweatshirt if you don't spill something on it? I want the community's input on this because I feel a particular way about this. Tanner feels another way. I guess we already know what that is, but I'm not washing a sweatshirt unless I spill something on it. Because it doesn't get dirty. That's just not what happens unless I spill something on it. So let us know in the comments.
You didn't make that very clear because you mean like he'll literally go months without washing it, like months, maybe even years without washing it.
Let me be more clear. Most of the sweatshirts I own and have owned for years, I have never and will never wash.
That's so disgusting.
Because they don't get dirty. Because here's what happens, guys, right? If I'm wearing a sweatshirt, I have a shirt on under it.
You're going to get roasted so hard for this. You think you have something here, don't you?
No, I think most people probably do wash their sweatshirts because they don't use their brains. Yeah. So let me lay it out for you guys, okay? I have a shirt on, and then I put a sweatshirt over it because I'm cold. If I'm cold, I'm not sweating. And if I do start to sweat, I'll take the sweatshirt off. But also, in the meantime, I'll be sweating into my t-shirt, which I will wash regularly, not the sweatshirt. The sweatshirt is making skin contact with, like, you guys can see, your arm, half your arm, your forearms. That's it. That's it. And then you take it off, and then it's fine. If I spill something on it, obviously I'm going to wash it. But besides that, it doesn't get dirty. So why would I wash it? It doesn't make sense. So,
just because something literally does not have like stains on it doesn't mean it's not dirty. It probably smells like ass. I'm sure it does.
When did I imply? Do you think I only wash a shirt once it's stained?
Essentially, yeah. I really think you do. Basically, I think you're that disgusting. I think you're that disgusting.
Okay. Well, you can't.
Because I don't know how you can't figure out it can smell. Also, if you're sweating through your shirt, and then your shirt is going to smell like shit, and that's going to get on your hoodie. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. Bring over one of your hoodies.
We'll go with that.
Bring over one of your hoodies for literally me to smell. Bring one over. I will smell it. Okay.
By the way, as men, we do the smell test all the time. Don't act like I've never smelled a hoodie before. I'll do a little test every time, but it never smells dirty because it isn't. So then I don't wash it. I don't wash things that aren't dirty. It's actually that simple. Yeah. It really is truly that simple. And if I'm fucking sweating through my shirt and it's getting onto my sweatshirt, I have long since taken off the sweatshirt by then. Duh. It's that simple. It's that simple.
I bet Raz smells like the hamster section at Petco. Wow. Yeah, surely.
That's a funny.
That actually. I don't know. Hamsters
reference.
Don't smell that bad. Actually, I would rather smell a hamster.
That section smells terrible, though. He's absolutely right about that.
Yeah, we've smelled you though. I've been to Big Bear with you, so I've basically been to that section at Petco because you did smell in Big Bear. Yeah, and we all let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is coming. You know, this is and he knew he smelled awful. On purpose. Yeah, and this is coming from the same guy that then also says he doesn't wear sweatshirts. So that base your feedback to this topic on that statement that he was fine with himself smelling like shit. I'm dead serious. I don't ever smell. I shower all the time. I don't smell. I don't ever smell because I'm clean.
By the way, if you're a new listener, there are timestamps. You can skip to the Warzone content if you want. Here was the Big Bear story. Okay, I go to Tanner's Big Bear cabin, which is either negative 20 degrees or 120 degrees. It's never been a comfortable temperature ever in that cabin, right? Which is fine, whatever. So we go there, and it's me, Tanner, don't care. Gabriel Saul Perez, homeless, unemployed, Covina, California, Lyman Avenue, don't care about him being offended by fucking sweat. Who else is there? Ben, don't care. And Michael, whom I've known for 22 years now, don't care.
Michael is not there.
Michael wasn't there?
Not the time.
Was it Joey?
It was Joey. Joey was there. Not Michael.
Okay, Joey. Okay, again, Joey, don't care. So we go to the cabin, and I don't know, we're doing shit, whatever, and we're like moving things. I guess I'm sweating now.
What do you mean moving things?
What are we
rearranging my family cabin when we're up there? What do you think we're doing? Moving.
I don't know what the deal was, actually. I don't remember. I had assumed something like that, but not moving fucking like movers, whatever. We're there. We're about to go on a hike. And Tanner and Ben, I think, take a shower right before we leave. And I say, you guys are out of your goddamn minds. We're about to go get dirty. Why am I going to shower now and then go hiking and then have to shower when I get back?
You had already smelled at that point, though. You had smelled when you got up there.
That's correct. That's correct. And they said, because you stink and you should be a decent human being. And then I replied, which I'll stand by, I don't care about you guys. And I don't care if my
Don't you care about yourself?
Offends you? No. Because I'm going to shower.
You're disrespecting
I know I'm going to
yourself.
shower in like 4 hours. That's the thing. If I'm on my way to go become dirty, I'm not going to shower to get ready for the dirty making thing. If we weren't doing anything that day, I would have showered with you guys. But we were literally about to go on a hike. So I said, fuck it. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to fucking dinner with your guys' wives. Then I would have showered. Anything related to society or other people and being a decent functioning member of society, I would have showered. We did none of that. We were going to go hike. So then we went on a hike. Everyone got dirty. And then when we got back, I did in fact shower because I was done with the dirty making activities for the day. And I'll stand by it. I'll happily stand by it.
I'm not kidding, guys. Everyone was like begging him, and they
smelled bad. Yeah,
like we were driving to the hike, and Gabe was like, "Holy shit, you smell so bad!" And we literally had to open up the windows because he was stinking up the vehicle. I think I was
farting a little bit.
And then he was like, "Oh, I don't care. I don't care that I smell." It was one of the worst drives of my life. Yeah, probably the worst drive of my life.
It was. Yeah, you guys were pretty.
So yeah, base that when you think of
you guys, I did fucking stink, dude. Yeah. I needed a shower. I was real dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't care though. Yeah. So
cool.
Anyway,
just cleaner. I'm a cleaner person than you, I guess. I don't know, man.
Well,
I have some respect for myself and others.
So anyway, welcome to the show. Let us know if you wash sweatshirts if they're not soiled. Today we are not talking about hygiene. We are talking about Warzone 2. So now that I have Orion, which I have and Tanner doesn't, and Tanner's kind of over the Orion grind because he's a fake grinder, we have both been playing a lot of Warzone 2 lately. Yesterday, we played for like 5 hours straight.
It's a long session. No crashes, by the way. We'll start off with that. We did not a single one of us crashed once.
Not a single crash anytime. Yeah, which is really nice. But yeah, we played. Tanner and I were on for like actually 5 hours straight, and we're 30. I mean, that doesn't happen.
That's a 12-hour grind for an 18-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, if you convert that to young person years, that's like a 12-hour grind for sure. So that was really fun. We had a lot of fun, and even before that, we've been playing some Warzone, but that was a particularly good session. And let me also say another thing. There is no world where I would have been on for 5 hours if I wasn't enjoying it. So I had a lot of fun too. Having a very good time. Had some good games. Had some not so good games, but by and large, they were quite good.
Very good.
And a lot of fun. But anyway, we've been getting more into Warzone, and today we wanted to bring you guys some tips and tricks. So, how is this different than a Warzone brainstorm or something? Some of you might ask. Or the roundtable or something. These are things we've pretty much everything we're going to talk about today are things we've actually done and work. In like brainstorm episodes, which we do on Patreon, for example, we will theorize about what might work or whatever. But today we're sticking to things that are absolutely true. And this is going to be more, it's hard to describe. I mean, we're going to talk about strategy quite a bit, actually, but this is just going to be kind of a random collection of pieces of information or yeah, again, strategies you can use to do better in Warzone. And I think the content
tips.
Yeah, exactly. The content will make more sense as you start hearing it. But the purpose of this episode is to help you guys do better in Warzone. And these are things we've been doing with a fair degree of success. So we won most games.
We won almost all the games. We did fucking excellent.
Yeah, we won a lot of games. We won a lot of games yesterday. We were doing quite well.
I think I won 6 yesterday we probably played.
I won one less than you because I got off one game before you, and you guys won that last one, right?
We may have gotten a win before you got on too. I don't remember. Maybe we didn't. No, I don't think we did win. We got like second or third place.
No, you
I think
absolutely did. I remember. I was playing.
Then yeah, I got I think 6 or so wins yesterday, including at one point we did 3 in a row, and then we ended on we got back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 in a row, and then Pop and Raz threw and lost Cope and I the 3 win streak we had going on. When we had to jump off and land on that roof, and then Pop got shot by some guy from behind because he's dog shit and didn't look behind him. And then you're just bad, so you lost us that, yeah.
I don't remember. I actually don't remember this game.
It was when they drill charged our roof 14 times. When we were on the roof and they threw every drill charge on the map at us and cracked me 8 times, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I thought you were done reloading because you were looking directly at the ladder where they were going to climb up. So I saw you there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to res Cope now because you have the ladder covered. I didn't realize you were reloading still. So then he climbs up the ladder, or yeah, whatever. You were plating. He's climbing. You were like, no! And coming out of a revive takes a while.
Oh,
I don't know if it takes longer than Warzone 1, but because it took a while in Warzone 1 too, but baiting a res, here's, I guess, our first tip. You got to be careful baiting the res because it's a minute to come out of it. So,
yeah, that whole scenario would have been, we would have won that too if there were audio, if game audio existed. Yeah, I mean, the guy, how far was that ladder from us? 6 feet, 5, something like that, 5 meters.
From you, it was actually like 5 feet.
There's no.
For me, it was probably 8.
There's no audio. The guy, they were below us. He apparently sprinted out, got on the metal ladder, starts climbing it. There's not a single piece of audio that lets me know he's coming up until I see his dumb fucking head. And by that point, I'm mid-plate. I can't stop fast enough and then pull up my LMG. And you're mid-res. You can't stop fast enough. So, yeah, we got dumpstered.
Yeah, we were just fucked. It was And that guy was such a free and easy kill.
Yeah.
If there was audio.
He solo pushed, and there were like 2 or 3 of them there too, and he pushed by himself. He was the only one that came up to the roof, and we lost that.
It was so dumb of him, yeah, but it worked. So anyway, that's the purpose of today's episode. So before we get into that, I don't think we have any announcements. None are written down. I will say one thing. I am not moving in December anymore. It looks like the move has been pushed back to early January. So this month is going to be it's going to be fairly atypical because Tanner's still going to be out of town. We're still going to probably not do anything for Christmas really with the pod. This is going to be a more normal month than we had anticipated. So I'll get into that more in our behind the scenes episode for you Damascus patrons if you want to hear about that. But this month will be less irregular than we had thought. But other than that, we have our hangout on tonight. Actually, I forgot.
About 5 hours from now, yeah.
About 5 hours from now. Multiplayer MW2 Custom is going to be fun. If you're a Damascus patron, we will see you there. Do we have any other announcements?
No.
All right. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is. Welcome, boys and girls, to the program. So yeah, today compiled a list of tips and tricks for you to do better. You know what this would be most similar to? All About Warzone.
For sure.
However, it's not there yet. We haven't refined all of our There's just not enough knowledge out there to get that brazen. Because when we put an All About Warzone fucking stamp on an episode, we stand by it, and we know that them things are true and good, and we don't have that level of confidence quite yet.
And this game,
this is a fetus of an All About Warzone episode. That's what this is.
Yeah, and this game may drastically change come Season 1 Reloaded if Infinity Ward has been doing anything. True. We should ideally get fucking hundreds of fixes. We'll see if they actually did anything, though. We'll find out in 3 days. When's that update come out? Oh, the 14th, 4 days. But yeah, this may be a little different. But yeah, so I think yesterday we finally came to the realization that you have to get your loadout as quickly as possible. No more of the buying individual guns bullshit. You need those perks. You need perks ASAP. Even though most of the perks don't work, there's a perk package that does work, and you need that ASAP. So I think we just yesterday perfected the strategy. What do you think? Think we figured it out yesterday?
Yeah, I think we did. I think you're right. This is true. This is something we had been saying as soon as we learned how loadouts worked, by the way. And we just were being a little too undisciplined because our dicks were so hard to like buy our gun that we would buy a gun and prioritize that over like going to a stronghold. This is cap. This is stupid to do, particularly in an LMG meta, by the way, which we are kind of in right now. That makes having your perks way more important, specifically fast hands. So we'll get into that, but it really is the case, which shouldn't be surprising to anyone, nor is it to us, that if you really want to do well and like win a lot of games, you have to be among the first few teams to get loadout. As soon as you can, go to a stronghold and get your loadout. If you're there first, it is so much easier. And a lot of times what will happen too is if you're rushing a stronghold as soon as it opens, some other team is also on their way there, but they're moseying. They're
heading towards it. Yeah, they're not really going for it. They're heading that direction.
They're taking the scenic route, but not you. You're driven. You are goal oriented. You're a type A Warzone player. You get there first. So what's great about that is you get to the stronghold. Some other guys are coming to it too. But by the time they get there, you have UAV sweeps going and your loadout. That's 4 free kills. And a fun gunfight too. Because you have like a huge advantage in that case.
Oh my God, massive.
It's more fun. You'll get more kills. And you'll still be set up. Even whether they come or not, you're going to be really well equipped to win the game. Because you have loadout. And by the way, we were on the opposite side of this coin once. We had one game where we were just very unlucky. And all the strongholds were super far from us. So we got to a stronghold way later than we had wanted to. And guess what? 4 guys in the stronghold just immediately dumped us, just annihilated us. And we didn't win that game, by the way. So
no, we did not.
We know what it's like to be on both sides of this equation. You want to be there first. But this, again, not only sets you up to get probably a free team kill or 2, but more importantly, you can just leave from there. You're Bing chilling. And those UAV sweeps continue, by the way. I remember one time, again yesterday, we got a stronghold, we got our loadout, we fucked off, and then I opened my map, and the UAV pings are still going. And we were fairly far away. We were like, oh, there's a team trying to take the stronghold we just took.
Yeah.
Let's go kill them. Easy. They don't know that we know that they're there. Or
you don't think about that, pushing a stronghold.
People don't think about that. And that's another thing, another tip and trick for you to think about. If you're not the first mover at a stronghold, be aware you are on the map of the whoever took this stronghold before you. So you could be getting pushed. And you wouldn't really know it, even if you don't hear enemy UAV or whatever. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, if you're in that stronghold, you know someone else is pushing because the UAV sweeps you get, but if you're pushing a stronghold, you may think it's just empty and someone already hit it and they fucked off, and then you start going in and boom, there's a whole team in there with AI for some reason. Because the AI doesn't always aggro. Sometimes they'll drop outside and stay outside and they won't go inside. That's what happened to us yesterday in that game. We got to the stronghold late because we started fighting another team, wiped that team, we were fucked. Then we had to loot around a little bit. Our vehicle was blown up, so then we had to get a new one. And by the time we got there, we had no idea. We actually just thought they had fucked off and left because it had been minutes since the icon disappeared because they had already hit it. I mean, they must have been actually sitting in that stronghold for what, 3 or 4 minutes just hanging out?
Dude.
There's no way that was a different team. Like, they were actually just like mounted up upstairs, just like waiting for someone to come. It was fucking really weird. That was the first time we'd seen that. But yeah, so I think we perfected it, and we're of course calling this the drop strat.
That's correct.
Tried and true. Works every single time, in quads at least. Don't know how any of this... I mean, this won't at all work in solos probably, but don't play solos. Find literally anyone else to play with.
Oh yeah, that's another thing we should mention. This is all based on quads. Most of this will apply to like duos and trios and maybe solos, but our experience...
We haven't tried it in those.
Exactly, yeah. Our experience is in quads, yeah.
Yeah. So let's start it off. Here's what you guys are going to do. This is the drop strat. The award-winning drop strat. Got us so many wins. Too many wins. I'm sick of winning. I'm sick of winning now.
It's
annoying. Holy fuck, annoying. Yeah, let me lose once. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to have to get a certified pilot on your squad. A certified pilot is required for this strategy to work.
Joystick preferred.
Yeah, surely. So you're going to land on a bird. You can pick any bird you want. We ended up most often choosing airport. Because you have a choice between the Albatross, which is the heavy chopper, which takes, I don't know, 4,000 rounds to take down maybe. Or you can use the medium bird, which is quick moving, has way less health, runs out of, Jesus Christ, Teddy, runs out of gas quickly, gets fucked up, but you can absolutely zoom around the map if you have a certified pilot like me, you know. So this is what worked for us specifically at airport, and you can pretty much do this at anywhere where there's a chopper. And I think all chopper spawns are static because that medium bird was there every single time. Yeah. So whereas like for Dance, sometimes they would spawn somewhere and then sometimes they wouldn't. But this is like if there's a chopper spawn there, it is there every single game. You know?
Yeah, it seems that way.
So one pilot is going to land right on the bird. You're going to get that right away. You got to get the bird. For when we were going airport, they were uncontested every single time. So maybe we just got lucky, but we never saw anyone else going for the choppers at all. So another teammate was landing at airport and possibly starting a safe cracker. We'll talk about that after I finish this. That part's debatable. And then our other two teammates were landing on the far east side of the runway, which there are a bunch of hidden stashes there. If you guys don't know, they're hidden stashes. They're also static around the map. They have armor vests in them. They have good guns in them. They have money. They have streaks. It's like it's a crate, or it's a hidden stash in the ground. You'll see it. It'll let you loot it. It looks like
a buried trash can.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Buried trash cans. So there are like 4 or 5 of them over there. You get money, you get streaks. Again, as I said, we all usually had vests by that point already too. So the pilot's going to loot around a little bit in the area. I would then go and pick the guys up on the runway, and then I'd pick, it was usually Raz up who was landing airport, and we'd all get in the chopper. And by that point, you're at about 30 to 40 seconds before the first zone starts coming in. The strongholds open when the first zone is about to come in. I think it's 10 seconds before, 10 or 15 seconds. I believe it's one of those two. It doesn't matter.
Like, right, yeah.
So you want to be in the air. You want to be airborne. And you're flying that bird as soon as those strongholds open. I already have my map up. I'm flying. I already have my map up. I'm not looking where I'm going. The map's up. We see a stronghold. Boom. See ya. We're gone. We're going right towards that sucker. So you are going to be the first person there almost every time. No, even if it's a stronghold 700 meters away, if you have that medium bird that zooms, you're usually going to be the first one there. Also, something to note, by the way, strongholds don't always open in the circle. Like we had one yesterday where the zone cut off airport and fortress, but one of the strongholds opening right away was at fortress. So we ended up going to that one because we're like, okay, that's south of the map. That's not even in the zone that's going to be closing in, or that's starting to close now. So no one's going to be going for that one. So we went straight to fortress. No one really ended up going there. So you're going to rush the hell out of these strongholds with the bird. You're going to land the bird somewhere close. Don't blow it up. Keep that sucker safe. And you're going to clear out that stronghold. You will have your full loadout guns and perks within 3 minutes of hitting the ground in Al Mazrah. It's that quick. You have everything.
Yeah.
So you can do the strat wherever. The biggest thing is to get a helicopter, specifically the medium bird. The Albatross is great, but it slows everything down. It's slower moving. It's fantastic to have for endgame if you want to be a dirty rat.
It's probably good. Yeah, if we wanted to refine our strategy and make use of the Albatross, I think the play is like land on a little baby bird, get that loadie right away, and then go for an Albatross. Because you're right.
Get an Albatross later,
if you land directly on the big bird, it's slow, it's hard to maneuver, it's not that fast.
It takes a long time to land. It's hard to land. You have to have a massive area to get it down.
You have to have like ATC helping you out. And it's just not as quick and efficient and effective as a little bird. Yeah. I think the play would honestly be, if you really wanted to be like sweaty, always use the big bird strat. You would do the drop strat, land on a little bird, go get your loadout, fly back to an Albatross spawn, get it, go loot, or maybe before you go back to the Albatross, get your loadout, find a gas station, loot the 1 minimum or 2 or 3 fuel cans in the gas station, then go to an Albatross, and then win the game from there, actually. And we did use the Albatross a couple of games, which we also won. The key there was, again, carrying fuel cans. I had like 1 or 2 on me when I was fucking around flying it. And not being afraid to seat swap. It takes like practice actually learning how to pilot that fucking thing. It has so much inertia. But once you get used to it, you can be really, really effective at just killing kids on rooftops. Like pretty fucking easily too. And it's very hard for people to shoot you out of it as the pilot, because you can move around. You get in, you get to wherever you want, you get out, you can walk all up and down the fucking entire length of that plane. You can peek the side doors and the back. It's hard for people to see you. And if you're using like an LMG with a red dot, you don't have glint either. So if you're like a decent amount above them, it's going to be hard for them to see you.
Yeah, shoot down.
Meanwhile, you're above them, seeing them perfectly. You can shoot down on them. This strategy can work. We did never get an albatross to survive till endgame, though. It's harder than. I think you really have to like. I think if you wanted to do that, which is a super effective strategy, like OP Marcus talked about this, and we talked about it in our last episode. Some team that did that to us. It's super effective to have the big bird endgame, but you have to like. Your whole team has to be ready to protect it and be willing to slow down, go to a gas station, repair, etc. But if you do, it's really good because that thing is indestructible.
Yeah. If we tried, we could, I think, easily get one to last till late game. It's just we never attempted that. You know, you guys would all jump out. I would keep flying it. I would try to land somewhere, you know, or I mean, we never went around and collected gas cans like these guys. Like these guys will collect a bunch of gas cans, drop them in the back of the bird so they can still then also hold other things in their backpacks. They have a full backpack and like 3 or 4 gas cans in the bird, and they just they hover as high as you can and just shoot down on people. So we could, I think that's a good strat if you really want to go for that, but I think that ends up being a little too boring for me. Yeah, I would rather get into some fights and maybe not win than, you know, just get a win from up there. Maybe not as many kills. I'm not sure.
I think if you're really, really good at the game, like OP Mark can probably do this. I haven't checked on in a stream in a while, but he can probably do this and still be getting like a fair amount of kills and a good amount of action. But this guy is also, I mean, he has like the number 1 most wins on Earth in Warzone 1. Like he's really good, so he can make it work, you know. But for most people doing the big bird strat, it's just going to slow you down a lot. It's hard to maneuver. You have to keep it repaired. But it's
hard to even land at gas stations a lot of times.
Yeah.
So it's so the medium bird though, you just get around so quick with that sucker. And if you haven't flown one yet and you want to try the strat, they react a lot differently than choppers in Warzone 1 did. They're very weird. It's like when you start going high speed, it's difficult to turn. You can't make like sharp turns at high speed. It changes. Like when you're going slow, you can easily turn, but once you get up to a higher speed and you're going straight and all of a sudden you want to turn, or, you know, there's a mountain coming and you need to go up higher, it reacts a lot slower than it used to be. So be careful flying them around at first because they feel weird. But yeah, so after this strat, of course, we have a loadout. We do not hang around them personally. AI keeps coming in. We don't want to waste our time fighting him. There's no benefit at that point to fighting AI to drop a plate in a Vaznev for me. You know, it's literally a waste of time. So we're like, okay, shit, AI choppers are coming in. Let's please just get out of here. Why are we hanging out here still? So we fucking bounce. So what do you do from here? We found, I think, in general, picking up bounties worked the best for us. Because when you get a loadout as early as we were, I mean, 95% at least, 95% plus of the lobby doesn't have one at that point. Like, I think we were often the first team in the lobby to actually get your loadout, you know? What's it called? And so it's just so free doing that. Because you're going up against people with like ground loot guns, shitty ground loot guns, no perks. It's so beneficial once you get double time and fast hands. Because again, as you were saying, in an LMG meta, to have fast hands, that's so strong. And then you're going up against these other guys that may have like a ground loot RPK or something else. They're moving around so much slower. They don't have tac sprint as often because they don't have double time. They can't reload as fast. They can't, you know, throw lethals and tacticals quickly. It's so strong doing this. So it's like when you get your loadout right away and then immediately go to the closest bounty, then you're pushing a team almost always that probably haven't even bought their loadout guns, and they definitely don't have perks or an actual loadout at that point, you know? So it's just like free fights. It's just free gunfights to win.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you want action, because the mid game is still slow, by the way. This is something we were not sure was going to be the case when we had initially said that the mid game was slow. I was thinking, well, maybe it's because people are crashing a lot, whatever. Maybe it's the lobby size, but I think it's because of the crashing. But the crashing seems to be gone. Mid games were still quite slow, if if we didn't get bounties yesterday. For every game. There wasn't a mid game where it wasn't. There was one mid game that wasn't slow, even though we weren't picking up bounties. And it was only because the circle split into 3, and we happened to be in one of 3 circles where 90% of the entire player base was.
Yep.
So besides that, though, it was really slow without bounties. So if you're just going for wins only and you're happy with some downtime, still get your loadout right away, of course. And then, I don't know, go do anything. Getting money doesn't matter. I would say go do intels, honestly. Go do recons, know where the last circle is, and win. We beat a team that was doing that yesterday. But they had a really good position. They just got gapped. But they obviously were recon gamers because they were in the same building for like 3 or 4 circles, and it was always in, and they were not moving, and it didn't seem like they wanted to.
Yeah, which game was that? Yeah, I don't remember which one, but I do remember, that team that was just in the building the whole time. Was it that round weird building down by the water?
Yes.
Oh,
correct.
yeah. That's an annoying building to push, too, because it's really dark inside. You can't see shit in there when you're pushing it. People can just camp in corners, nasty head glitches. Yeah, that is a rough building to push.
Yeah, super rough. So like you could do that too. Once you get your loadout, just do a bunch of intel contracts, which are recons, and then you'll know where the next circle is going to be. Do those infinitely, and then you'll be in a really good position. But it's one of those 2 things, or you can just pick up a bunch of bounties so that your mid game isn't slow. And that's what we were doing because we were not super concerned with like winning every single game, which I think we should start maybe doing. So we can get that nuke, and then we can go kill chase again. But
maybe
yesterday was not the day. So yeah, it always doesn't matter though what you do. Just you'll be so ahead of everyone.
Yeah, exactly. You're the first one there every single time. It doesn't matter. I mean, we would go to strongholds that were 500, 600, 700 meters away and still be the first one there because you get there so fast with the bird.
Yeah.
So. In regards to at the start of that strat, I'd said like maybe start a safe cracker. I don't know where we stand on that because I think ultimately depends on where you land, but I don't know if you want to pick up a contract because the point is to literally be in the air with your chopper when the strongholds are spawning in so you can immediately go for one. And if you start a safe cracker, then someone's running around trying to finish it, and then you want to finish it, and like, oh, let's just finish it. I'm like, no, we gotta go. We gotta just get our loadout guns. It's not worth wasting our time doing this to get a little bit of money and maybe another vest for what? To then buy nothing. We don't need it. We're going to clear a stronghold. Once you clear a stronghold, that's the other thing. You get so much fucking cash. You get like $30,000 from clearing a stronghold. You get vests. You get medium backpacks. You get armor boxes. You get mini boxes. You don't actually need to do a contract before that. If you're the first team there in the air with a chopper when they spawn in and you're the first team there always, that'll never be a problem. You don't need to have money at that point.
You really
because you're never buying guns.
Yeah, exactly. You really only need to loot enough to be able to clear a stronghold. Like that's, I'm not kidding. That's all
you need. One gun. You need like a ground loot SMG or a ground loot AR with a few extra mags to clear a stronghold, and that's it.
And like some plates, maybe, yeah. And then that's it. Because you're going to get everything you need from the stronghold. You're going to get gas masks, vests, backpacks even. That's another really good thing is you get a medium backpack every single time, or a couple. If you're playing quad, sometimes a large backpack. That's really good for helping you in endgame. So if you've been getting your loadouts from the free loadie drop, that's cool that you survived that long. Congrats without a loadie. But also you're missing out on the gas masks, the vests, which you're probably going to find anyway. But you're also missing out on a medium backpack. And if you don't get it from a stronghold, it's very common to never find one.
Yeah, they're not as common as you think they would be. But when you clear a stronghold, it's guaranteed. Yeah. If you're in quads, It drops 4 every time. I don't know if that changes based on the player count or the squad size. If in duos and trios, it only drops 2 or 3, or if it still just drops 4 and then they leave extras for people coming after. I don't know. And
it drops self-reses, which you usually can't buy at a buy station.
Well, yeah.
It drops a lot of things that you usually can't buy at a buy station. So like, you know, again, if you want to be set up for winning the end game, one thing that you would do in Caldera or Verdansk is make sure everyone has self-res, make sure everyone has like a muni or armor box, and make sure you have your loadout guns and perks. In this game, you could have all the money in the world and you'll never get all of those things. You can't buy anything at buy station.
Well, you can, but it's random. So whatever buy station you're going to, you don't know what it's going to have in there. Sometimes they do have self-revives. Sometimes they have airstrikes. Sometimes they have mortar strikes. Sometimes they have nothing. So you don't know what you're going to get. But I think... Because when you do clear the stronghold, it's always going to have 2 or 3. Besides the bomb you have to defuse, which gives you the loadout, and then that drops like the backpacks and everything. There are 2 or 3 other white chests in there which have insane gear in them. You will open up one of those and it will literally have like $15,000. And I'm not kidding. They will drop 3 up to 4 streaks at a time on the floor from one chest. Yeah. Like you can walk out of a stronghold, your team combined has probably $40,000-$50,000, which you don't even need at that point. And then everyone on the, if you're playing quads, every person has 2 streaks easily. And then you all have muni boxes, armor boxes, everything. Yes. You're set up for the rest of the game. And doing this strat, I don't know if you noticed, we very rarely died after that. We never had to use the community loadout because we would never get downed and be dead because we were so set up for the rest of the match.
I didn't notice, but you're right. I went to Gulag like twice yesterday.
I didn't go to the Gulag until our 4th game we played. And then I got out of it because no one else was in the Gulag because it was at a weird time. It was like after the loadout had dropped, there was like 40 people left or something because we'd set up so well for the rest of the game. And that's how every single match was.
Yeah, true. And the point with all that gear shit is that, like, if you wanted to get everyone in quads, to get everyone on your team to get a self-res, a vest, and a streak and a gas mask, you would have to hit like 5 or 6 buy stations to get those things. Or maybe even more, because it's just a random... what the inventory of the buy station is. Or you could hit a stronghold and you're guaranteed to get all of those things every time. And you get it so soon. Like right when the, first circle's done closing. 30 seconds after that. So it's really imperative you're hitting these strongholds. It's really that simple. This is a requirement if you want to win games.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot stress enough how well we did constantly as a team. No one was ever getting down. It was just, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So then, after we would do that, clear the stronghold, we'd get like a bounty or something, start fighting some teams. You still should have the chopper at that point, hopefully. You want to keep the chopper as long as you can, basically, because it's going to just help you so damn much. But then we would start going out of our way to buy stations to see what they had. Just because we had all this money, we don't need guns. We're not probably going to have to ever buy anyone back because everyone on our team has 2 self-res in our massive backpack. We have our perks, we have our guns. There's nothing you have to spend money on. So all we're looking for is streaks. So we'd go to fucking at one point we took the chopper and flew and stopped at 3 different buy stations, random buy stations around just to check and see what they had. And we would buy them out of streaks every single time because we had so much money. We would drop whatever we had and buy all the streaks, buy UAVs, airstrikes. Mortars don't seem to spawn in them very often, but they definitely do. But airstrikes and UAVs, that's what you really want to look for because that's what they have the most often.
Yeah.
But let's see going on here. So kind of something else we discovered while doing this is then once you start getting to mid to late game, like I was saying with the streaks, you want to hold as many streaks as possible. So you're going to push the buy station with choppers, buy out all the streaks you can get. Try not to waste them. I have a habit of wanting to blow my load and waste them a lot, but you're going to want them end game. I've been wasting them a lot because we have so many. Yesterday at one point, I had 5 streaks on me. I literally had 5 streaks actually, on me. And I'm like, does anyone else need a streak? And they're like, no, I have like 2. I'm like, God fucking damn it, I have too many streaks. I don't know what to do with them. Great backpack system. They for sure play tested that, by the way. I'm sure, the 0.3 KD devs for sure thought of loading up their backpack with self-reses and airstrikes during the testing, for sure, surely.
Which we told you day one, before day one.
Back in fucking May, I think.
Yep.
Literally.
So now we're abusing it, like we told you.
So try not to waste all the streaks. You want at least a few for end game because the other team always has a streak end game also.
Yeah, for sure.
So by end games, they'll be so valuable. You want to make sure your team has at least a few of these stocked up. Medium backpack, I already talked about that. But the other thing is you have space to hold all of these because of that medium backpack from clearing the stronghold and never getting down because you're so set up. You're still going to have that for the whole game. And instead of carrying like 3 stacks of plates, you carry 1 stack of plates and you hold a muni and an armor box or something. Because you get 4 armor boxes from clearing the stronghold and usually 1 muni, maybe 2. Seems random. But so you have so much space to carry like those streaks in your backpack now because you don't have to worry about carrying extra ammo. You don't have to worry about carrying extra plates. You just carry 1 box instead, and then everyone on your team will have a box. So you'll be like, all right, there's guys over there in a vehicle. Just light it the fuck up. We have 2 munitions boxes still. Don't worry about it. So that gives you so much extra space in your backpack to hold all these streaks, which are annoying. More annoying than Caldera now, actually. We've realized that. The streak issue is way worse in Warzone 2 than it was in Caldera when we thought it was really bad, and it was awful. It is now worse. It is now every gunfight you get into, someone calls in a streak on you.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
But yeah, so biggest thing there, go out of your way with a chopper, look for streaks in buy stations, because you have so much money, there's nothing. We finish every game with $30,000 still, you know?
Yeah,
it just actually goes to waste. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, if you're doing strongholds, don't save money because there's nothing to save it for. We would regularly end games with a grand total of like 80, 90,000.
Yeah, a lot more than 30, huh? Because we'd like all have 20.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'd all.
This is with us going to every buy that we see and buying everything we want. So don't save money. It doesn't matter. The only thing you'd ever want to save money for is to buy people back. But if you're doing strongholds, you can go to every buy you see, buy everything you want, and still have money left over to buy anyone back if they die. So don't save money. It doesn't matter. Waste it. Spend as much as you want.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, by the way, if they end up letting us buy loadouts and everything stays kind of similar to how it is now. Wonder if you can keep a bunch of loadout drops in your backpack. Imagine just having like 2 or 3 loadout drops.
Loading markers?
For if your team dies or something, or you want to like change your kit or something. Just fucking having a bunch in your backpack.
Spare one just that if you're like, that's interesting.
Yeah, like the circle pulls, and you're like, oh, this is a good sniping circle because sniper's one shot now or something, and you throw one down. Oh my god.
Carrying like 1 spare would make sense, I think. Yeah.
But so another great part of the strat is high ground matters even more in this game actually than Caldera, because the Caldera, of course, you had redeploy balloons, people would land on top of you. Portable balloons, they would land on top of you. Bombers, they would drop on top of you. Gulag tokens, extraction tokens, they'd spawn in the air above you. And high ground did matter a lot on that map, though. Still, it matters even more on this map. And so having that helicopter the whole game helps you so much because there's a team down there. Boom, I'm a licensed pilot. I have hundreds of hours in the air. I'll land on top of a hill. You guys all get out. Everyone starts shooting. Boom, we wipe him. Get back in the chopper. Just move from hill to hill, and you always have the high ground, and no one can push up to you if you play it smart. You know.
Yeah. That's another nice thing about the chopper and I mean, the chopper affords you all of the huge advantages that it always has in Warzone that we've talked about. You travel faster than everyone else. You can get high ground whenever you want. It's really good for all of those reasons. Those things are still true. So yeah. And maybe even more in this game, high ground matters a lot. There are Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it's good. It's always been good to have a chopper. That's still true. So in addition to getting you to a stronghold as quickly as possible, it's nice to have a chopper for even after that too.
Yeah.
Next, on to. So that was kind of a cohesive little tip and trick. That was like the strat. That was fairly cohesive. Yeah, it's the drop strat, patent pending. Now we're going to get into, it's going to be a little more scattershot here, but still, some things to keep in mind. So use the Warden perk package. Yeah, I agree. It has double time and fast hands. I believe it is the only package that has both of those, which are the most important too.
There may be another one, but I feel like it didn't work or something. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe it was like double time and
I'll check right now. Yeah, but I'm
not sure. But Warden is the one that we found that I was like, oh, this one makes the most sense. So yeah, it's double time, fast hands. You also get strong arm, which is slept on. We've confirmed that now. I saw a TikTok of a guy downing someone who was marked. It was literally 100 meters away. He downed him. He had strong arm. He lined up a Semtex. He threw the Semtex 100 meters and stuck the guy that was downed and fooled him that way. Literally 100 meters. Granted, he was high above the guy, but it's not like he was directly above him throwing down 100 meters. It was like he was away from him and he was lower than him, and he threw that Semtex and it stuck the guy. So really good to have. And then it also comes with quick fix, supposedly. Don't know if that works. No idea at all,
think it does. At least when I've seen streamers, it works. But they might be like Xbox streamers or whatever. I don't know. But quick fix, it works for some people. I've never seen the icon, so I don't think it does work actually for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I didn't know the Warden package had. Yeah, it does have. No, it doesn't have quick fix. It has overclock. That's why.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking right now. I'm looking for anything with double time and fast hands. And I think this is the only one. That's why you use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, another popular one is wait, quick fix is an ultimate perk, right?
Yeah.
Okay, none of the perk packages have quick fix. So if I've seen that on a stream, it is someone who can make their own perks. Must be nice.
Or it was the default loadouts then. Okay.
Or a default loadout, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's something, by the way, using like the default loadouts and then using your own guns. If you really wanted to be giga meta, that's probably something you would do. There's probably a better default class for Warzone, assuming you have your own guns, than any of the perk packages. If you're just comparing perks, I don't care that much, and I'm not that interested in that or talking about that, because I expect this to be changed fairly soon, and I don't feel like spending a bunch of time talking about which default perk package is best, because hopefully, as it should be, we'll be able to use our own perks.
Hopefully
soon.
In 4 days, but we can actually choose.
If you wanted to play like super optimally, you would actually probably want to get a default loadout and then buy your own 2 guns after that, after you do a stronghold. That's actually probably pretty easy to do, by the way. Because again, like we've been talking about, after you finish a stronghold, you'll have so much fucking money. You guys can all easily buy 2 guns. So maybe that probably is the ideal, better strategy to do if you're like close to a buy, or even if you're not. But it's something that we haven't been doing. I don't care enough. I expected this to be fixed by now, to be honest. So
I expected them to at least tweet about it and tell us if it's intended or not.
But to be clear, that's probably better than using a perk package on your own custom class. I just don't care enough to go through the labor, especially when it'll be fixed in a month, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, double time fast
hands. We're aware of that.
Really good.
But anyway, yeah. As far as default perk packages, if you're going to go with that strat, Warden's, the only one with double time and fast hands. Double time doubles your tactical sprint duration, which is extremely and immediately noticeable. Super giga noticeable. And then fast hands is, and this is something I alluded to at the beginning of this episode, especially in an LMG meta, if you're using an RPK with a 75 round mag, that thing reloads fucking slow. If you're using the RAL, which we're going to get into, that thing reloads extremely slow, even with fast hands. Without fast hands, it's like unusable. So
yeah, true.
Getting fast hands is, I think that is the single best perk for Warzone 2, and this package has it, so use it. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, so then moving on here, with the RAL, I think it is the long-range meta. Most people are on the RPK still. We saw some RALs yesterday. Pretty much everyone's on the RPK. I had been on the RPK. And then Raz discovered this, and he told everyone to use it. You know, Cope.
The RAL LMG.
Cope didn't want to. We had to be like, Cope, use the fucking RAL. He's like, no, I love the RPK. I don't want to. It's like, just use the goddamn RAL. It's so much better. You know, so
Correct.
Personally, all of us yesterday, especially myself, but everyone did better using this than the RPK for us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mobility doesn't feel that much slower than the RPK, especially since you're getting double time and fast hands 3 minutes in the match. I mean, that feels better than buying your RPK and running around with it without double time and fast hands, you know. ADS speed is about the same. RAL has a 75 round mag by default, just like the RPK, but the slower fire rate means those 75 rounds last a lot longer. Not like the RPK has a high fire rate, but the RAL is definitely slower.
Yes.
You can take it and fire an entire 4-man squad down at a decent range with this and have 15 bullets to spare. We pushed a team. We were fighting a team at Observatory last night. I think it was after you left. I think it was in our trios game. And there were 3 guys in one of the little domes. I pushed in there. I didn't know how many there were. I thought there was like 1. The cope got down and then maybe fold. And I just started barking off. I just kept seeing bodies. I kept aiming at them, shooting them. Downed and fold all 3 guys. And I probably still had 30 rounds left in the RAL. You can do a lot of damage with that ammo count. So reload speed isn't the greatest, but again, not that much worse than the RPK, really, and fast hands helps a ton with this. I actually haven't used the RAL without a perk, fast hands, so I don't know how bad it is, but with a perk package, I never got annoyed or thought the reload was too slow, did you?
No, yeah, because you're right, it's about the same as I was already used to the RPK,
yeah. Which doesn't make any sense, because it's like fucking belt-fed. The RPK reload seems way too slow for being a drum magazine. They actually need to speed it up. It's weird.
It doesn't make sense. The RPK should reload much faster than this, but it doesn't seem to. Maybe a little bit, but yeah, this gun's really good. I especially like it because if you're trying to shoot someone that's super far away, or like, let's say you're trying to shoot someone out of the air and you're trying to get how much you're supposed to lead them. You're shooting an RPK. While you're calibrating, you're going through, let's say you go through 20 rounds in the time it takes for you to calibrate. With a RAL, you'll go through 7. So in that same time frame. So you can spend more time figuring out how much to lead someone, or figuring out just getting on target if you're shooting at someone like on the ground far away or whatever, and still have way more bullets left to continue shooting them with because the fire rate is slower. It's not like having a slower fire rate is better than having a faster fire rate. Obviously, I'd prefer a RAL to have an RPK's fire rate, but it would be insanely broken at that point. But there are some advantages, sort of quality of life anyway, to the slower fire rate of the RAL, and it makes up for that in TTK by hitting like a fucking truck. It's way fewer bullets to kill. So I particularly liked it at long range where you're missing a fair amount of shots, because there were times with the RPK, if I'm shooting someone real far away, I'm like trying to work on getting on target. I land a couple, miss a couple, land a couple more. They're pretty close, and now I have to reload. But in the same situation with the RAL, I still have half my mag left, where they like stop or they dive behind a rock that they think they have cover on. They actually don't. With the RPK, I'm reloading while they're doing that. With the RAL, I've still got 45 bullets left, and I just fucking keep chunking the shit out of them.
Yeah, you're way less likely to want to reload with 20 rounds left in your RAL than you would with 20 rounds left in the RPK.
Correct.
Because that's plenty of bullets still with this gun. That's super easy to control and hits really hard. And that's the other thing. This hits a lot harder than the RPK, it feels like. I especially notice it when I'm down low and someone like is on a roof and they either have a head glitch on me or they jump up to then get an angle shooting down at me and I shoot upper chest. Feels like when I do that a lot of times with like an RPK or an AK or something else, you get them one shot and they have just enough time to get into cover. With the RAL, they don't. You down them when they're still standing there and don't even have time to react. Sometimes you can even finish them. It feels like it has an insane headshot multiplier. Feels like you're hitting headshots with like a pre-nerfed EM2 or something.
It's like a lot.
Like the time to kill feels good, and then you mix a headshot in, and it's got to be 2 less bullets to kill than the RPK at least. It feels really fucking good. It feels like at range, 4 shots, upper chest, maybe mixed in with a headshot, down someone. It is really, really good. And then same thing up close. If you're hitting headshots, because it's so easy to control, get on target, you'll fucking destroy people up close. again, that game that you left last night, Pop was like plating or something. Cope had died to a team, and I was like 1v2 against these guys. And they were like 20 meters from me, and I was like, shit, too far for my pistols. I wish I actually had an SMG right now. That's the one time I did. And I just started barking with the route. They barely got any shots on me. I downed both of them, and their death comms were like, dude, what the fuck? They were like so mad. Like, how did I die that fast? It was insane. The gun's just so goddamn good.
Yeah.
So here's my build. I think Raz is about the same other than the optic. You guys want to use the F-Tac Reaper suppressor. You want a RAL suppress, by the way. You'll hear it from 1,000 meters if it's not. So you want the F-Tac Reaper. I'm not going to tell you how to tune it. Figure it out. Look at the chart. So the F-Tac Reaper muzzle. For the barrel, you want to use the 21-inch Rhino. You want to use the SA side grip under barrel and the high velocity ammo type. And for the optic, I tried yesterday one called the Choreo Enforcer optic, which is like a traditional hollow sight. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. I had never used it before. I did not try the RAL with any other optic because I like this one so much and I was doing really well with it. But optics are mostly preference. If you like the AIM-OP V4, do that. This one has a tiny bit of zoom, more than like the AIM-OP, more than red dots. But it felt really good on this specific gun for me. So I really like that one.
Yeah. Fuck, I was going to say something. I forget. Oh yeah, there was one game where I was dead because Cope, Pop, and you sacrificed me. You let me die. It wasn't my fault. And I was spectating you. Dude, you were switching from your pistols to your RAL, and some guy was already shooting at you from like 10 meters away, and you drop shot him and kill him with an LMG switching to it. And I was like, holy shit, that guy is terrible. Yeah. But also, as soon as you had it out and started getting shots on, melt. People die so fast once you're getting once you're actually hitting shots with this thing, you're not losing a gunfight. The only way you lose gunfights with this is if you are not shooting first or at the same time. But like anything heads up, the TTK feels absurd.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's so goddamn fast. But
and that
anyway.
I love that optic. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I'd use it on other guns, but for some reason, specifically with the RAL, it feels really good.
Yeah, the optics are. The optics basically pick an optic based on what reticles you like.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like, Cope was trying to sell me the Kazan Hollow, and I like the optic. I like the bezel. I like the zoom level if it has any, which I think it might. But the reticle itself is fucking terrible at long range, and you just lose people in the stupid green circle if you're trying to shoot someone like at 150, 200 meters. Like, I just don't see them anymore. But if I had just a clean blue dot on that same optic, I would love it. But the reticle totally ruins it. So I think the way I've been choosing optics, and I've been testing a couple now, is based on I'm trying to find a hollow that I think zooms more than just the red dots do, because I want some zoom, but not Schlager level zoom. And then I also want one with an acceptable bezel and a good reticle. It's the most important thing. And right now, what I've found that I like is the Lone Wolf something with Lone Wolf in it. That's all I remember.
And it's another hollow, right? It's that one.
It's a hollow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has Lone Wolf in the name of it. And the reticle is a half circle. So imagine a full circle, and then you take off the top half so that if people are above your dot, and there's a dot in the middle, that's the reticle. So if people are above the dot, they aren't obstructed by the top half of the circle because it's cut off. That's why I liked it. I'm not losing people with it like I was with the Kazan. I don't like the full circle hollows. Because I lose people when I'm trying to shoot them super far away. So that's what I've been using. But yeah, the same build. And also, before I tried the barrel, I was running the muzzle, the underbarrel, the high velocity rounds, an optic, and a recoil control stock. And then I tried a recoil control rear grip. And those felt about the same. There were probably some differences. I didn't notice them too much, but I also wasn't paying too much attention. And it still had a decent amount of kick, initial recoil. So I was like, I'm going to try, instead of a stock or rear grip, for recoil control. I'm going to try a barrel instead that helps with recoil control. So I put on the Rhino barrel, and that very obviously helped the most with recoil. That is true for the Raw, and it was obvious. Yeah. I don't know if this will translate to every other gun, but I suspect it probably would. If you have a floating fifth attachment and you want extra recoil control, and you're not sure whether to do a barrel, stock, or rear grip, if all you care about is recoil control, I would say go with a barrel. Not for the velocity, not for the damage range, only for the recoil control, because it seems to help the most with recoil control. But keep in mind, it's going to slow down your ADS more than a recoil control rear grip will. But when you're using a fucking raw light machine gun, your aim down sight speed is shit anyway. I've just accepted that. So getting an even slower ADS by swapping out my rear grip for a barrel didn't matter to me. So that seemed to be the best build for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of having a discussion about it yesterday when we were building these. Like, why are we running a barrel? Do you need one? I tested it in the firing range. The barrel felt the best by far because I thought the same thing. I'm like, we don't need velocity. We're already using a suppressor and a high velocity ammo type, which are both giving you way more velocity than any barrel does. So I'm like, why are we running this? And I took it off also and tried a couple different things just in the firing range real quick, and I can immediately tell in the firing range. I'm like, oh yeah, the barrel feels the best for recoil control, actually. I don't think that's always the case for most guns, actually. Because a lot of guns seems like the stocks will perform very well. There's also a lot of downsides to like ADS movement speed penalties.
The downsides for sure.
But specifically for the RAL, I don't know. This barrel feels really good for recoil control. And yeah, the ADS feels actually better than I thought it would be, honestly. So you know, it doesn't seem like it makes sense using all these three combined in terms of bullet velocity. Like you don't need it for the velocity, but you're using it for the recoil control. It just feels good that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm literally using the barrel only for the recoil control. Yeah, maybe that's not true for every gun. If I was using like an actual assault rifle, like the TAC, there's eight TAC guns. Change the names, so I don't know. The TAC gun that is in the AR category, or one of them. I was using that. If I wanted more recoil control on that, and it was between a barrel and a rear grip, I'd probably go with a rear grip in that case, because a long barrel, even if it did help my recoil control more than the recoil control rear grip would also slow down my aim down sight speed, and I would actually find that relevant on an AR, because it would be super noticeable and a really big hit. But again, with an LMG, my aim down sight speed with or without the barrel is going to be slower than any AR anyway, so I'm just doubling down on the recoil control. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind for sure, and test it with more guns. But just something to consider. The biggest thing I noticed for the RAW specifically is that the barrel helped a ton with the initial recoil control. It had way less.
Yes, that's what it was. You're right. I remember thinking that in the firing range too, because it comes down a lot, and it's a lot easier to control after probably like 5 or 6 rounds. But that's what it was. You're right. It was very weird feeling initially without the barrel. That's what it was. Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, next point here, secondaries don't matter. If you're not sniping, and we'll talk more about sniping at a later date, because we haven't tried it in a while. And I do want to revisit it, but I didn't at all yesterday. So if you're not sniping, your secondary gun, I just don't think actually matters. It's really as simple as using the P890s or the X12s akimbo, and that's it. These are going to perform better than an SMG inside of any SMG's first damage range. And then outside of the SMG's first damage range, any SMG is going to lose because the damage drop off is insane. So an SMG or akimbo pistols are going to be useless outside of that anyway. So it doesn't matter. Therefore, I don't think it's even worth it to like run overkill or to buy a second gun for close range, because you can just use akimbo pistols without having to do either of those things and not use overkill. So use akimbo P890s or use akimbo Glocks. They're going to be better than SMGs for everything your SMG would be decent at anyway. And it's really that simple. there are probably a very, very, very specific narrow set of circumstances where you'd rather have an SMG. But this is not relevant when the pistols are just so much better than SMGs at SMG range and way fucking easier to use. You walk into a building, you're hip firing, it's not hard to get on target. You mag dump, you win. You delete. They're gross, they need to be nerfed, but the P890s and the X12s are what you want to use. For the P890s, it's the hip fire laser, the muzzle that maximally increases range and velocity.
It's the steel fire suppressor.
Yeah, okay. No barrel. Akimbo rear grip, obviously, that's 3. 12 round mags, that's 4.
The fire rate trigger.
And the fire rate trigger.
One that gives you the highest fire rate, yeah.
Yes, that's 5. And then on the Glocks, it would probably be the same. I haven't tried them yet, but yeah. And it's that simple. And then fuck on people.
Yeah.
Another thing, by the way, I tried some shotguns. I tried one shotgun, really. I tried the one-tap shotgun, the Bryson 800. This has the longest damage range besides the Lockwood of the other 3 shotguns, because I'm not using a 2-round mag in Warzone. So of the remaining 3 shotguns, the shotgun with the longest damage range is the Bryson 800. It's a pumper. It's not mag fed, whatever. And I made like the one tap on someone who's fully plated build. It can one tap someone who's full plated in Warzone, but you have to be real fucking close to do this. And if you're not one tapping, it can still be good. Cause like I got a nice little double kill with it yesterday. There were 2 guys cowering in a room. I peeked. I fucking shot some guy. I wasn't close enough to one tap him though. So he was just cracked. And then I peeked out again, re-peeked, shot again, downed him. And what's nice about pumps is you can do that. The problem is if they pushed me, I would have been dead. But it's really good for like peeking and then taking cover while you rechamber. Then they're really fucking strong, but a lot of times you can't do that or they won't let you do that. But anyway, the problem with the shotgun is it doesn't one tap from far enough away to be worth using over akimbo pistols. If I have to get inside of like, for example, 6 meters to one tap you, I'm going to die to anyone decent if they have akimbo pistols before I even get there, actually. So it's not worth using the shotgun. I haven't tried the expedite yet, but it's almost certainly true of that as well.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm dying in 150 milliseconds to akimbo pistols, why bother getting overkill or dropping 5K on an expedite that is going to do the same thing and reload slower since it's 1 shell at a time? It's dumb. Shotguns aren't worth it right now, unfortunately. So
yeah, who knows if they'll ever be. But
yeah,
I honestly hope the pistols don't get nerfed because I feel like this is the K-BAM shotgun right now. I feel so confident pushing buildings. Once we go back to an SMG meta and these get nerfed, I'm never going to push a building again because I just know I'm going to get fucking destroyed.
Yeah,
that's the other thing is I feel really very confident
like
with these, and I will win gunfights against controller players up close easily. But when we go back to when we get into a new SMG only meta, then I won't be allowed to push buildings anymore. So that kind of sucks.
I'm hoping that like the expedite becomes relevant once the pistols get nerfed, though. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because then I could still confidently push buildings somewhat. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know, the game just has such a fast time to kill. I'm not sure if that'll ever be the case, at least for a long time.
I'd have to try it. I'd have to try it more. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But I mean, either the pistols are just overpowered. As much as they even the playing field, they're still like really gross. But the big problem there is the time to kill is just too fast in this game. So
yeah.
An outgrowth of that is a million other problems, but the core problem really is the TTK is too goddamn fast. It's stupid. So
yep, agreed. Yeah. I'm gonna move this up here since we're talking about guns. Yeah, this was your note, I think.
Okay. Let me move one more thing as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about that anymore, but
don't use, yeah, I guess. Don't use visible lasers. So there are a bunch of lasers in this game. They're like really good actually in terms of stats, like the canted 7 milliwatt canted laser in like multiplayer. It makes your aim down sight and hip fire and sprint to fire like actually 200% faster. They're really effective. Problem is they're also super fucking visible, and there are worse lasers that are still visible. Like the max aim down sight speed laser besides that canted one. It helps your ADS a lot, but it's also super visible. And I've never even attempted to try this in Warzone because I knew it was going to be a mistake, especially with how often you'll be pre-aiming angles in Warzone. You don't want to just telegraph that you're doing that. Duh.
Yeah, I haven't felt fast ADS too beneficial so far in Warzone. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I haven't been prioritizing that at all. But anyway, we were rotating. I was rotating, I think, with Tanner from somewhere to somewhere. And I see a red laser like around my back. And I'm like, and so I had no idea anyone was there. And since Tanner was in front of me and we were the only two alive, I was like, oh shit, Tanner, there's a guy behind us. I quickly ducked into a building, turned around, Tanner turned around with me. We dump the guy. If he's not using a laser, he gets a free kill on me.
Yeah.
A free kill. So he went from getting a free kill to getting absolutely annihilated. And he was probably seething. How do you know I was there? Because you're a moron. Don't use visible lasers in Warzone.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Besides on the pistols.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
When you're 10 meters away.
They already know you're coming at that point if you have your pistols out and you're pushing a building. But also, though, do not use the akimbo pistols and hold a doorway just aiming at the doorway. People won't push in. If I see that, oh, I'm not going that way. I know this guy's looking at it. I will literally aim my pistols like at the floor or at the wall if I know someone's close, or I'll just go and push them myself. I don't usually hold an angle with akimbo pistols, but just make sure you don't ever do that because they're very visible. I mean, you see two lasers like 100 meters away on a fucking mountainside. It's insane. So
yeah, that guy was far that I saw the laser from, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried the RAL yesterday. I took off the barrel and I tried it with the OLV laser, which is the ADS and sprint to fire laser. That's like the best one in multiplayer for ADS. I took it in the firing range. Didn't seem at all worth it to me. The ADS speed increase was slightly noticeable. End of the day, though, you're still running a chunky LMG. It's not going to get that good. What's the benefit of getting a little bit more ADS when I can instead get a lot better recoil control? So that's what I go with. I think for the meta, for the LMGs and shit that we're running right now, I don't think a laser is a necessary attachment.
I'm not kidding. A laser wouldn't even be my 6th or 7th attachment. It would be my 8th on the RAL. I swear to God, I'm not kidding.
I don't know if we're ever...
I'd put a rear grip on first, I'd put a stock on first, and then I would do the laser that's not visible.
Yeah,
that's how unprioritized it is.
You're not realizing how bright it is when you're using it. You're not realizing how obvious it is to everyone else on the map. You're just not thinking that because you're ADS and you're also looking through an optic, so you barely see the laser. But meanwhile, some guy running up to your building just clear as day sees the laser going out a window looking in other direction. It's literally going to get you killed so often. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it currently. I don't know if they ever will be. Even like on ARs and shit, I don't know if they will be, honestly.
Yeah, if it was worth it, it would be the laser that no one else can see, which only slightly helps your aim down sight speed. And that's why I'm saying, like in multiplayer, I use that laser a fair amount, but it was only on guns where I actually had nothing else I wanted in terms of attachments.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, I have a free slot. I might as well increase my aim down sight speed a little bit and put on a laser that other people can't see, which is like the worst one.
Yeah, I was big on lasers at the beginning of multiplayer, but now I don't even run them in multiplayer either anymore.
Yeah, I only run... Yeah,
they're worse in multiplayer than Warzone, actually. A lot worse, because the maps are smaller, you see everything.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So we already talked about this, but we'll quickly mention it again. Between the barrel, the muzzle, and the high-velocity ammo type that a lot of categories have, your barrel actually increases your bullet velocity the least of the three. So if you're trying to, and it comes with other pros, but also very noticeable hit to your aim down sight speed. So if you're trying to just get some bullet velocity and then prioritize other things, do not use a barrel on a gun. It should be, if you're using a barrel only for bullet velocity, stop it. Because you should be using a muzzle instead. It helps more. Yeah. And then you should be using a high velocity ammo type. That helps the most. So don't use barrels for the velocity only.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst of the three.
If you're thinking between a suppressor and a barrel for just velocity only, never pick the barrel. On any gun, it's always like, it's like usually 10% less velocity than the best suppressor will give you. So yeah. Moving on to some other things here. This is something I don't see a lot of people doing, but I do every time. You guys gotta start dolphin diving off roofs instead of just jumping off. If you're on a roof, dolphin dive off that sucker and immediately pull your chute. You're gonna go further. You're gonna stay higher immediately, which is gonna let you ledge hang on closer buildings. I swear to God, sometimes it feels like when you dolphin dive and then pull your chute, you're actually higher up than you started. It's weird. So this is very beneficial in certain areas. Like if you're fighting in said city, especially, you can go from rooftop to rooftop where you otherwise wouldn't. You think, oh, I'm going to jump off, pull my chute, ledge hang on this. No, you're not going to make it. If you get a little running jump, dolphin dive before you get to the edge, pull your chute right away, you will be able to ledge hang on like every single building that you're trying to get to. It makes a massive difference. There's actually a video of a guy even on, this was early on into Warzone. He was in the high-rise building. There was a guy shooting at him from behind. He immediately dolphin dove off the roof, immediately pulled his chute, and was able to actually wrap around and then land on the same roof he just dolphin dive off of and pulled his chute. That is literally impossible every single time you do that if you just jump off and pull your chute. But he was able to, you stay so much higher up there that you can then like grab onto the same roof. It's weird. So this is a really good strat for going further, staying in the air longer, and then getting to other buildings that like, you otherwise wouldn't. Like even if you're 200 meters away and you're jumping off a mountain or something to try to land on a building, dolphin dive if you can, because that may be the difference between you being able to ledge hang or you landing halfway down the side of that building and then being stuck on the ground when you're trying to get onto the roof. So I think that's something really basic that everyone should be doing for a massive benefit at times.
Yeah, good comms there.
Moving on here when it comes to the gulag. There's a 3-plate vest in the gulag. When you go in the gulag, you start with a 2-plate. That's the max you can get. You have the 2 plates. You can pick up a 3-plate. That gives you 3 full plates with it. So you can plate up once if you haven't been hit, and then you have 3 plates. If you get cracked, you can then again plate up 2 more times and start back how you did, even though the other guy you're fighting probably didn't pick up a vest. So he's going to have no armor, and you're going to be back to 2 or 3 plates again. You're going to win a lot more gunfights that way. And then, of course, since you leave the gulag and come back with whatever you left with, you then come back into the game already with a 3-tier vest, which late game they end up...
I've not thought of this, but this is actually such a big brain idea. Yeah.
They end up being a lot more beneficial late game because by then so many things have been looted. You're not hitting a stronghold anymore, so you're not going to get vests as often. They're common, but this is just a guaranteed way to get out. So that's like the first thing I'll usually do is go and find a vest in the gulag and immediately plate up if I have a decent teammate that's not just like full-blown rushing them and being a fucking idiot, you know? And then that goes for tacticals and lethals. If you see them on the ground in the gulag, throw your frag. Don't be scared to throw that frag as soon as the timer lifts, which is, I think, 3 seconds maybe that you can't use it.
It's really short. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 3 seconds sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure you pick up, throw those frags, pick up another one, throw that sucker. Do that all the time. Same thing with tacticals. And then if you have those at the end of the gulag, you're going to come back to the game with those. That's a good thing to do. And then along with the gulag too, I always stick with my teammate. Obviously, if I'm in the gulag with someone I'm in Discord with, it's a lot easier. It's always stick together. But whenever I'm with a random, we don't ever VoIP because the other team's going to hear. I don't ever VoIP them.
I made that mistake once.
Did you?
Yeah.
You got fucked
I didn't
that way?
think about it, but I was like, oh, I don't remember what I said, but I died. Because, yeah, I was giving comms to my teammate, and I didn't, because I'm dumb. I didn't realize I was talking to the other team also. Yeah, that's a mistake. Don't do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So then what goes to the gulag, though, stick with your teammate. Because they just always usually do their own thing. You're in there with some random guy. They're never thinking about teamwork. So instead of making the first push, I will stick with my random teammate always, because I want to be close to them, because I know they're going to die every time. Because your random teammate is never good. I don't ever get Aiden as my random teammate. I get Jerry. I get 65-year-old Jerry. You know, that's who I'm dealing with over here. Is kids fucking screaming through his mic. I don't ever get a good player. Yeah. And so I stick with them because I know they're going to die if they go off solo, and then I'm going to die if I go off solo a lot of times. So it's a lot easier to 2v1 than letting your random shit teammate run off on his own and die. So wherever he goes, I just follow him and I help him, and some guy tries to flank him and I save him and kill him, you know? Just don't do your own thing. Believe me, I hate the 2v2 gulag. I despise it. I would much rather have 1v1. But you need to actually treat it as a 2v2 and work with your shit teammate. Follow them around because they're never going to do that to you. Follow them around, stick together. You're going to win a lot more gulags that way.
This is always my strat. This is absolutely true. You let whoever your teammate is, let them go in front of you first and be very close to them. Yeah. Because what'll happen oftentimes, is that they'll push really hard and you'll be behind them, and then they'll find one of the other two, but the opposite team didn't stick together, and you just get a free 2v1, and then you just 2v1 the other guy.
Yep.
However, don't make the mistake of being too close to your teammate, because this happened with Tanner and I like 2 days ago. We were getting farmed in the gulag, and we were like, all right, let's hold hands so we get 2v1 people. And then we were standing like too close together. We got fragged, we both died. Or like, even if we don't die, if they see one of us and they throw a nade at one of us, it's going to do damage to both of us, and we're fucked. So stay close to your teammate. Don't stay too close, though. This is kind of obvious, but since I made the mistake, I thought I'd mention it. Don't be too fucking close, but be close enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Be on like the same side of the gulag.
And never trust people when you go for the jailer thing. I've never once attempted or even...
Not even close.
Even thought about staying alive and going for the jailer. Because why? Just kill the other team and get out. Why would I try to? You know, it's insane that people actually do that. But yeah, moving on. Oh, next one's yours, actually.
Yeah. So another thing I had been talking about and kind of worried about, gas mask whoring to make like insane gas plays. So like, if I buy fucking 5 gas masks and put them in my backpack, I can just gas play and win the game. Many of you have probably already figured this out. I only figured this out yesterday, though. Gas masks in your backpack will take damage, whether they're equipped or not. So if you have 5 gas masks in your backpack and you're in the gas for 50% of the gas mask duration, but you only have one of them equipped, they will all have 50% health. They all take the same amount of damage. So the point is, don't carry extra gas masks unless you are literally carrying it to give it to one of your teammates. So treat it like the 3-plate armor vest. You never carry this, ever, unless you're specifically carrying it to give it to one of your teammates. But otherwise, it literally doesn't make any sense. It's just a waste of backpack space.
Yeah, I was not realizing
I'm glad
this.
It works this way, by the way. I'm really glad it works this way.
It would have to work this way, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't do dog shit, cheesy gas play strats. But I didn't discover it until yesterday. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, I have like 2 extra gas masks. They're all 47% health or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So they don't let you gas play by carrying extra gas masks, but you can have 8 self revives in your backpack and stay in the gas for 2 minutes.
Something.
Yeah. Great, well thought out. Great job, Infinity Ward, as usual. I didn't realize that either. I oftentimes would have an extra, wouldn't really think about it. I'm like, oh, there's an extra gas mask. And then I remember at one time, like a few days ago, I was like, why is this gas mask got like 66% or 67%? How'd that happen? I'm like, that's weird. And then I was going to swap it for my other one, and I remember thinking the one on me is the same percentage. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And I kept it, and it didn't hit me till you said that yesterday when we were playing. You're like, by the way, don't carry extra gas masks. It's just doing the same damage. I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, that's why that was happening. Yeah. I didn't really think about it. I just figured it's in your backpack. It was working. But, yeah, I am glad it works this way, of course. It has to work this way.
Yeah, this is much better. So
yeah,
they thought of one thing. Good job.
They did. Yeah, they used their one collective brain cell and figured one thing. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, Ted must have been off that day.
Yeah. Kind of last thing for me here when it comes to like looting. we're so used to looting places with a bunch of chests and listening for chests, because that's what it's been in Warzone 1. It's not that way anymore. You don't usually want to go for chests, actually. You want to go for loose loot. So convenience stores and gas stations are the best places to loot. They have more loose loot than anywhere else on the map. The shelves are full of shit, full of plates, tacticals, lethals, a bunch of small stacks of money. So you're not going to get like a 3,000 stack, but you're going to get a bunch of 200s, 500s. Every convenience store has at least one register, and a lot of times they have two. You're going to walk out of there with thousands of dollars. A couple stacks of plates, ammo, a gun or two. Nothing like insane. Usually not going to get like too many streaks or anything, but it's so much quicker looting than landing in like a 3-story apartment building that we're used to like looting on Verdansk and Caldera, or even Rebirth, and going for all those chests because there's so many of them. There's so little chests on the map. You go in a building, 3-story building, it'll have 2 chests in there and then a little bit of loose loot. It's a waste of time to loot. You're better off looting convenience stores. You'll quickly realize which ones they are. They all look different. You'll run into one. They're usually longer buildings. They have 3 total rows, I think, of shelves that you can run up and down, and there's loot fucking everywhere. They always spawn like the safe crackers and stuff too. Like a lot of the contracts will be sitting on the shelves inside of those stores. Those are the good ones. So those and gas stations have a ton of loot in a very small area. Prioritize looting those. Don't get baited into landing at like houses and looting all those, because you're going to spend so much more time and run out with less loot.
Yep, exactly. That's the thing. That's what makes the convenience store and the gas station so huge, is like, it's not gonna get you as much loot as looting train station in Verdansk or factory in Caldera would give you, right? Yeah. But also, you're done looting a gas station in 30 seconds. So the cash per minute or items per minute of looting a gas station is literally higher than anywhere else that has ever existed in Warzone. Not because there's a complete metric fuck ton of loot in these, but because there's a lot of loot in a very, very small area. So you can go into a gas station, be done looting it, and you've gotten more cash per minute looting that than anywhere that has ever existed in Warzone, probably, besides, the bunker keypads places in Verdansk or some like special crazy area like that. So these are easily the best thing if you just want cash. And that might be what you want to do now that the drop strat has come out and you just want to rush a stronghold. If you want to go, and there are icons for gas stations. So another thing you could do if you don't want to land like airport like we've been doing, you could maybe land at another helicopter or a helicopter that's close to a gas station. Loot the gas station real quick. You have enough ammo, plates, and money now to get by, get the chopper, wait for strongholds to open. You have enough equipment now to clear a stronghold. Then you fly to a stronghold, clear it, and then you have all the money and items you could ever possibly want. So this is a really good, easy, fast way to get some gear quickly. Again, it's the most loot per minute you can get of anywhere that's ever existed in Warzone. It's actually crazy. They're super slept on and super good.
Yep.
Yeah. So make sure you're doing that.
Yeah. So. But I don't know. There's a lot of other things we could think of. I don't have anything else written down. Just one last thing to finish off. You can't split with how this game plays. Hold hands with your teammates at all times.
Yep.
You have to. You're not going to win gunfights if you don't.
And you're not going to know people are around a lot of times.
No.
That's another thing too, and I made this realization yesterday when it happened to me. I was like 100 meters from you guys, by the way, so remind me all to tell you all the story. But in Verdansk or Caldera, in Warzone 1, if you're playing quads and you want to split into like 2v2, one of the reasons that's possible, there are a ton, we've talked about some of them. One of the reasons we haven't talked about is that you will know when people are around you most of the time, because you can buy as many UAVs as you want, and you're going to be popping a ton of UAVs. Maybe you're doing big game bounties, so you're getting advanced UAVs. You can buy 3 UAVs and pop them for an advanced that way. these were all things that are possible in Warzone 1 that are not possible anymore. So one of many reasons why you can't split now is that you don't know who is around a lot of times or where they are, and you have no way to find out, no matter how good you are. So I could have all the money in the world and access to a buy station. It'll have 1 or 0 UAVs, probably 0, because I'm there.
Usually 0, yeah.
So then I'm not going to know if there's another team around, if it's one team, if it's one guy, if it's 3 teams all on different, buildings in a very small area. So that's, I think, the main reason you can't split in this game, is because if you get surprised thinking you're pushing one guy and it's actually 4, that'll happen a lot because you have no way to predict how many people are in there, or to find out rather, because you just can't be popping UAVs. And there's no audio in this game, just like in Warzone 1. So you're not going to hear people mobbing on you. And so splitting is a death sentence. And yeah, this happened to me yesterday. And you don't have to be very fucking far, by the way. I was in a little shack. I was maybe 100 meters from you guys. And a team of 4 mobbed up on me. No audio, no idea they're coming until they were on top of me. Instantly dead. I was dead no matter what there. And like in Verdansk, if we were in the same scenario, I would have been popping UAVs this whole time, and so would the people splitting from me, and I would have been getting UAV sweeps off of that. So long before they would have gotten to me in Warzone 1, we would have called a UAV, I would have known they were coming, and I would have fucking moved. But in this game, you just can't do that. There aren't enough UAVs, and there's no way to procure them. So I, of course, got deleted. And I was not very far from my team. So you really do have to be quite fucking close to your teammates, especially in quads.
Yeah.
But this would probably apply to trios and duos as well, honestly, I would say.
Yeah, and I've noticed if we ever even somewhat split and one person pushes a building, they die every time. You just can't do that in this game. The movement, the plating, you can't do that. Time to kill. You got to stick with your team. You're either all pushing or none of you are pushing.
Yeah, for sure. So there you go. Yeah, okay. So that's it for this episode. As Tanner said, there is, I'm sure, more we could say on this topic, but this is everything we kind of thought to write down for now. Keep in mind, we will at some point in the future have an All About Warzone 2 episode where a lot of these ideas and thoughts will be more crystallized. We're going to wait until they fix most things with this game. For example, I'm not doing an All About Warzone episode until I can pick my own fucking perks. Figure it out, Infinity Ward. Number 1. And then looting will get better. There's a lot, and a lot's going to change too. Like, this is going to be probably post-pistol nerfs, maybe some more weapon balancing. We're going to wait till the game is in a little more of a solid state than it is now. And we're also going to wait until we have more experience and very, very, again, crystallized views on what works and what doesn't, what tends to work. And we will have a really good episode, which I'm really excited about, All About Warzone 2. But that won't be for a while. There's still work to be done by us, and more importantly, by the developers of the video game. And maybe they'll write patch notes someday, so that'll be cool. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Damascus Patrons. We're doing our hangout tonight, multiplayer customs. It's going to be fun and exciting. Keep your eyes on the Twitter at the Dropshot Pod. We post our schedule there every week. We also post it in our Discord every week and on YouTube as well. You can go to our channel and we schedule our upcoming live streams, whether it be gameplay or the podcast, every Monday. So keep your eyes on one of those 3 places to keep up to date if you want to catch us live. Website's under construction, but we're getting that underway. And if you wanted to support the program, if you wanted bonus episodes, if you wanted ad-free episodes, if you wanted early access episodes, or if you just wanted to support the show, patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to do it. 5 bonus eps a month and a lot of other goodies. Check it out. We love and appreciate all of our patrons. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Thank you all for watching and listening. Have an excellent evening. Stay humble.
Stay humble.